Hello and welcome to the jungle garden in Denmark. This is just a quick spring update and I'll show what new plants I have bought for the garden. It has been such a terrible spring, the wettest April on record, and a lot of the plants that actually survived the winter didn't survive that. So I have decided to get some more hardy plants, not necessarily exotic, but just to give the garden a backbone, something that can perhaps make some microclimates for the more tender plants, or tender and tender, but not fully hardy anyway. This is the fern corner, and as always it's looking pretty good, except for the black bamboo next to the tree fern. It doesn't look really happy for some reason, but I don't think it's dead. It's probably those cold winds we had this winter. Compared to that, the neighbor, which is a Faustacus, see if I can zoom in, spectabilis, is sending out some really big shoots. So that is doing very well. And it is also becoming the tallest of the bamboos down here, as you can see. Really tall. Our yucca palms did really well in winter, but that wet April nearly killed them. This is our Yucca rostrata. I have pruned off all the dead leaves, and as you can see there's not much left, but there's plenty new leaves in the middle, so it will be looking good again, I hope. But what a shame. And it's the same with our Yucca gloriosa variegata. It had so many dead leaves, and as you can see I haven't even taken off all the ugly looking leaves because there would be nothing left, but also that has plenty of new leaves coming in the middle. And in the background here we've got a new Yucca rostrata, so that's going to be put over there instead of that sad one that hasn't at all like that wet spring. I'm going to move that down to the mountain where it is a bit hotter. And this is the ordinary green Yucca gloriosa, and it doesn't look like it's made it. That wet April just killed it off, I think. I haven't started to remove the ugly looking leaves yet, but if I do, there won't be much left of the plant. And the middle of each rosette, if you can call it that, there's no life in it. As you perhaps remember, it flowered last year, so in each rosette there was a big fat flower stem from last year, and that has sort of kept the center of the plant open, I think, so the water could get in. We'll just have to wait and see, but I do think it has died. The New Zealand bed is beginning to look like we want it to. It's green and looking lush, just like New Zealand. The Australian bed looks a little empty because the plants that are going in there have just arrived only, so we haven't planted them yet. This is our Albizia julibrissen. We didn't think it had survived, but clearly it has, with all the shoots coming up now. This is the oldest Fatsia japonica we've got in the garden. And as always, it looks like, I don't know what, here after winter, but as you can see, it's got lots of new shoots. So it just survives every winter, no matter what. And because of that, we have decided to get some more Fatsias, because well, it looks like they like it in our garden. And here is another Fatsia, spider's web, which is looking good as well. So another proof that Fatsias like our garden. The big tree fern has found its place here in the corner of the garden, right next to the tree with the bench around it. But the tree died this winter, and instead we've planted a new one, a Paulownia tomentosa, because they grow really fast. And this is our Eremurus, which has flowered with, or it is still flowering with 2 big flower spikes this year. It has been partly covered with a huge hosta empress boo, so I think I will lift it next year and put it somewhere else down in the grassy area, also because it looks like it's sort of reaching for the sun here, so it'll probably be more happy down there. And this is the grass area where I'm going to put that Eremurus next spring. There are lots of grasses down here that shouldn't be here, but I suppose that proves that grasses like this area. And here is the mountain, and it looks like the plants down here, they have coped okay with the winter. The small yuccas down here were covered up also in April, where we had all that rain, and I guess that's why they have done well. After I have been waiting for years, I finally found a Jubaea chilensis that I could afford, and it's here on the mountain as well. And I'm really looking forward to see that growing up, but it grows so slowly, so perhaps it won't be in my lifetime. We'll just have to wait and see, but at least it will get just a little bigger. One thing that is for sure is that the weeds will always grow no matter what, and I haven't really had time to remove it all, so you have to bear with me. Another thing that is sure is that it is really spring when you can hear the nightingale in the background. Even though the Tetrapanax were in one of those polystyrene boxes in the winter, it has still frozen back, and it is not until now that it's actually beginning to shoot from the root again. As you can see, a tiny little shoot is on its way down here. So apparently it didn't work with the polystyrene box. And because the spring has been so cold and wet, a lot of the plants that go dormant in the winter, they haven't started to shoot until now, as you can see with this Cautleya. This is actually the only of our banana plants that kept the height. The rest of them froze back to the ground and are just beginning to shoot up again now. Luckily, we had quite a few pops from last year that has been overwintered indoors, so they're about 1 meter high, and we've planted them out just to give a little height in the garden. And here are the new plants waiting to go into the ground. There's a phormium, evening glow, because we have now found out that if we put the phormiums in a polystyrene box, they keep growing during the winter, and they've become really, really good looking. Then there are a couple of Melianthus major. We had two and we lost them both here during the winter, and they weren't even in the garden during the winter, but they still died. Thank you very much. And then a plant that not necessarily can be called a jungle plant, but it's got this fern-like foliage, so it's still a bit exotic looking, I think. Mahonia soft caress. Then there is Cooper longifolia. Again, not a jungle plant, but I just think the foliage is jungly enough. And next to it, a pittosporum. It's evergreen, which the Cooper is as well. And it's exotic enough for me. There's another phormium behind it, and some grasses for the Australian bed. They can't overwinter outdoors. And then a different kind of banana, Musa sycamensis. I will probably be digging that up and taking it indoors. Then we've got this plant that is going to become a small tree to give some shelter. Melia, it's called. And behind it, we've got some Magnolia grandiflora. Again, becoming small trees. This is the exotic end. Colocaceous, and they will be lifted and taken indoors for winter. And then there is a big one with the big leaves. That is an alocasia, and I already had that. It has been overwintering indoors, and it's just taking it out here to get it into the ground. But even though it's disappointing to lose plants every winter, I guess that it is still looking fairly good out here. And now all the plants just need to grow in a little, become bigger, and then it'll look like it normally do. Thanks for watching.